Hello, and thank you again for joining us for our Recipe Wednesday as a part of the Strive for Health April Wellness Challenge. My name is Mary Ann Wright, and I'm a 4-H area educator and assistant to the regional coordinator for Lincoln University Cooperative Extension. Today we are making Veggie Quesadillas, and I have two helpers with me today, and they are...
Hi, my name is Cortland.
I'm Chloe.
Okay, so we're going to get started. So Cortland, first we need to know what we need to have for this recipe.
Okay, so the first thing you will need is 3 sweet potatoes, 3/4 teaspoons of sea salt, half a teaspoon of ground cumin, half a teaspoon of chili powder, 1/4 teaspoon of dried oregano, and 1 tablespoon of olive oil.
Then you'll need 3 cups curly kale, 3 green onions, 1 can of black beans, rinsed and drained, 8 to 10 large whole wheat tortillas, and 2 cups cheddar cheese.
Okay, so now we have all of our ingredients, and we're going to go ahead and jump in and start. So our first step is to wash and dry all of our produce. So we have gone ahead and we've done that ahead of time just to save us a little time on this video. And then step 2 is...
Peel and slice sweet potatoes in 1/2 inch thick slices.
So Cortland is going to use our vegetable peeler and to get that skin off. Okay, so now Cortland has our sweet potato peeled, and she's going to go ahead and slice our sweet potato in 1/2 inch thick slices.
Place slices in a large stock pot and add water to cover. Add 1/2 teaspoon salt and bring to a boil. Once boiling, reduce heat to medium and cook for 15 minutes.
So we have already done that off screen. So our sweet potatoes are in here and they have been cooked. Okay, our next step is...
Chop kale and thinly sliced green onions.
Okay, so Chloe's going to start slicing our green onions. We're going to use some of the onion whites at the end and some of the onion greens. So she's going to chop a little from both ends and just really thinly sliced pieces. So I'm going to flip it over. So with the onion white, she's going to cut off the root and just discard that, and then she'll thinly slice those onions, and that's what's going to give us our flavor. And so our kale, we've already chopped that, and we steamed it for 3 minutes in the microwave just with a little bit of water, and it will reduce in size greatly. So this pan, or this dish was full when we put it in the microwave, and you can see how much it reduced in size. But you want to see that bright green color. Okay, so our next step, we're going to rearrange. So now we have a large skillet. So we're using an electric skillet since we're not in our kitchen. So we have that here and we have it turned on. We're going to add some olive oil to our skillet. And then Chloe is going to add our green onions. So those green onions that she just chopped, she's going to add that to our pan. And when you do that, you should hear it start sizzling. And then we're also going to add our steamed kale there. So make sure you adjust the heat so it doesn't pop on you too much. And if you're cooking at home, be sure that you're cooking with a parent. So Chloe's going to kind of stir that a little bit, and we're going to cook it for 3 minutes. Okay, so while our kale is finishing up, we're going to go ahead and do the next step. Is to drain the sweet potatoes and then return the sweet potatoes to our pot. So we have done that. Then we're going to take a potato masher, and we're going to go ahead and mash those sweet potatoes up. So your smasher might look a little bit different than mine, but the main thing is we just want to make sure that they are mashed good so we can stir in our other ingredients. If you don't have a masher, you can also use a fork. It'll just take a little bit longer. So now we're going to add our spices. So Cortland is going to add a half a teaspoon of salt. And anytime you're measuring spices or anything, you want to be sure not to measure over your pot, because in case you spill, you don't want to spill into your pot. So do it just off to this table in case. So next we have a half a teaspoon of our ground cumin. Next we have a half a teaspoon of our chili powder. Okay, next we're going to do a quarter of a teaspoon, so that usually is our smallest measuring spoon, of dried oregano. Okay, so that is all of our spices. So now Cortland's going to give it a really good mix. It's time to go ahead and add our kale mixture to our sweet potatoes. So I'm going to move that over here, and Chloe is going to add our kale to our sweet potatoes. And then be sure to turn the stovetop off. And you're going to add your black beans next. And then Chloe's going to give that a really good stir. Okay, that looks pretty good. So now is the time to season as you want. So we're going to add a little bit of salt and pepper, and this is just kind of to taste. So you can add a little bit and then add a little bit more, but you can never take out your spice. So add just a little bit at a time, and then you can kind of try it, taste a little bit, and add more if you need to. The next thing is assembling our quesadilla. So Chloe has our flour tortillas here. And we're going to put a pretty generous spoonful of our mixture on our quesadilla. So she's going to put that on a work surface, and we're going to put it kind of on one half, and we're going to smear it, leaving a little bit of a border on half of our quesadilla. It's a great way to eat some different vegetables. So once there's about half of it is full of filling, we're going to top it with some cheese, so it will get a nice, good melt. So you can measure it out, or you can just sort of eyeball it. So we're just going to make sure it's completely covered on that topping. And then Chloe is going to fold it over, fold it in half. And she's going to kind of push down on it a little bit, so it's going to stay in that form. And then we're going to grill it. So we're going to use the same skillet that we use for our greens. So we want to make sure that it's wiped out as much as possible. So she's kind of getting rid of the rest of the greens that are in there. If you have a paper towel, you can do that. Just make sure that your pan is not hot when you're doing that. So once the pan is clean, you can turn the heat back on. So Chloe's going to do that now. And then we're going to pick up our quesadilla, and we're going to grill it. Most skillets, you can do 2 different quesadillas in the pot. So go ahead and let it sit for about 3 minutes or so per side. So we're going to flip it over after a couple of minutes. 2 of our quesadillas are finished, so you'll see it's nice and golden brown. And so now it's time to try what we made. So we're going to go ahead and use a knife to slice it into quarters. And you can serve it with a salsa, maybe even like a yogurt sauce.
Or ranch.
Or ranch, that's right. So now it's time to taste this. None of us have tried this, so this is going to be new for us. So Cortland, you want to slice? Chloe. Let's try it. I think it tastes good. So it's a fun way to get more veggies in. It's pretty easy to do. So we're gonna finish grilling up these, but we're so glad that you joined us today, and we hope that you have enjoyed the Strive for Health April Wellness Challenge. Remember that you can look at any of our past videos, our resources, if you go to our Boot Hill 4-H YouTube channel or the Pemiscot County 4-H Facebook page, and look on the Google Drive for all of the documents. So we really appreciate you joining us.